dear friends. In today's video, I am going to explain a very important topic, that is Pascal law, proof of Pascal law and the application of Pascal law in daily life. So first of all, let us consider what do you mean by Pascal law. Now here we explain that Pascal law in two different ways. The meaning is same. That is, consider the first statement that Pascal law state that the pressure applied at any point of an enclosed fluid which is at rest, that is the static fluid. Whenever we apply some pressure at a point, that point must be enclosed in a fluid and that fluid must be rest, is transmitted equally to every point of the fluid and also on the walls of the container. Only the condition is that provided the effect of gravity that is negligible. So let us repeat again. Pascal law states that the pressure applied at any point of an enclosed fluid which is at rest is transmitted equally to every point of the fluid and also to the walls of the container, provided the effect of gravity that is not to be considered, that is neglected. So in order to explain, let us consider this diagram. If you consider this is the point which is enclosed by the fluid, that is the liquid. Whenever we apply some force at that point, it means whenever we increase the pressure at this particular point, then whatever the pressure exerted or increased at that particular point, that increase in pressure is equally transmitted to the other molecules of fluid as well as whatever the portion of the vessel that is in contact with the liquid. That is the meaning of Pascal law. In second place, we consider here an increase in pressure at one point of the enclosed liquid at rest is transmitted equally to every point of the liquid as well as to the walls of container, provided the effect of gravity is neglected. It means whatever we increase the pressure at one point, that increase in pressure at one point is equally transmitted to the other points of the fluid or liquid, and at the same time to the different points of the wall of the container which is in contact with that fluid. Now consider the liquid column, and in that liquid column, if you consider the 2 points, that is A point and B point. The point B which is at the free surface of the liquid and point A is well inside the liquid. Now when the pressure at point B is increased by delta P, suppose delta P is the change in pressure, that is the increase in pressure. If we are increasing the pressure at point B by delta P, now whatever the pressure increase at point B is equally transmitted in all directions, and that pressure is equally transmitted to the other points of the fluid as well as to the walls. Now if you consider the point A and point B only, whatever the pressure increase at point B, the same pressure that will be increased at point A. If you consider the pressure difference at that 2 point, the pressure difference at that 2 point is only the H rho G. That is the atmospheric pressure, H rho G. H is the height, rho is the density of that fluid and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Now we can prove this Pascal law. Now in order to explain Pascal's law by considering particular experiment, that's why I write an experimental proof of Pascal law. So it can be proved by considering a particular shape of vessel. So our first point is, consider a vessel with 4 arms A, B, C, D. You can easily observe the 4 arms of that vessel, the first arm, second, third and the fourth arm. That's why right here, consider a vessel with 4 arms A, B, C. Now that vessel is filled, or that vessel is fitted with certain pistons. That pistons must be frictionless and watertight. It means whatever the liquid present inside the vessel, that must not move outside. So that is the watertight piston. And that vessel is filled with a incompressible fluid. That is the water, as shown in figure. Now let us consider the cross section of the every piston. Now if we consider small a, that is the cross section of piston A. 2a is the cross section of piston B. 3a is the cross section of piston C. And a by 2, that is the cross section of piston D. Now here you have to just apply the force on any one of the piston. Now I select here the piston at the arm A. So if I apply the force F on this piston A, what is the procedure? If I apply the force F on this piston A, obviously this piston that will move in downward direction. It means here, by applying this force, I am increasing the pressure at this point. This is the point which is enclosed by that incompressible fluid which is at rest. Whatever the pressure increase here, that pressure is equally transmitted to the all parts of this vessel. And what is the observation? Because of whatever the force exerted on the piston at arm A, it is observed that the piston at B, C and D, that will move outward. That is the observation. Now see here what I write. If F is the force applied on the piston A, then obviously the pressure exerted by that liquid is given by as pressure at A equal to whatever force upon area. Now area of that piston, area of cross section of that piston is taken as a small a. Therefore, the pressure at A is given by F by A. Now when this force is applied on the piston A, then what is our observation? It is observed that these 3 pistons, they move outward. That is the observation. Now let us revise quickly. Here we have to prove the Pascal law experimentally. For that you have to consider one vessel which consists of 4 arms A, B, C, D. That 4 arms contain the 4 pistons of frictionless as well as the watertight, and in that vessel we take one fluid which is incompressible. Let us consider the cross-sectional area of each piston, that is small a, 2a, 3 and a by 2. Now just apply the force on any one of the piston and observe what happened. When we apply the force on piston A, the pressure at A can be found out by considering force upon area on which we apply that force. So that is pressure at A equal to F by M. At that stage, what is our observation? The piston at B, C and D that move outward. In order to keep this piston B, C and D in their original position, you have to apply certain force in opposite direction. Now let us consider twice F be the force required to keep that piston in original position, that is the piston B. 3F be the force required to maintain the original position of piston C, and F by 2 be the force required to keep that piston D to its original position. Now let us find out the pressure at B, pressure at C and pressure at D. Now here pressure at B can be found out by considering whatever the force needed. What is the force needed to keep that piston B in original position? Twice F. And its area of cross section you can easily observe from the figure, that is the 2A. So this 2 get cancelled. So that's why pressure at B, that is equal to what? F by A. Now similarly consider the pressure at piston C, that is equal to whatever the needed force, that is the 3F, and area of cross section of that piston, that is the 3A. Again 3 get cancelled. The pressure at C, that is also equal to F by A. Now consider again the pressure at piston D, that is equal to force required, that is F by 2, and area of cross section A by 2. Now these 2 get cancelled, and the pressure, that is equal to F by A. Now here if we consider the pressure at all the point, then it is observed that pressure at A, because of application of force externally on the piston A, that is equally transmitted to the piston B, to the piston C and piston D. That's why we have here the pressure at piston A equal to pressure at piston B equal to pressure at piston C equal to pressure at piston D. So from that we can conclude that whatever the pressure transmitted from the single point A, that is equally transmitted to the point B, C and D. Let us repeat again. If we are just exerting the force on piston A just to increase the pressure at that point, that increase in pressure, that change in pressure is equally transmitted in 3 directions, that is B, C and the D. So that's why I write here pressure at A equal to pressure at B equal to pressure at C equal to pressure at D, which prove the Pascal law.